Hello folks, today I'm going to be taking a look at some preview models from Flags of War for their Border Reiver Kickstarter. Okay, so I'm going to be taking a look at Flags of War, and these aren't actually their Jacobite Rebellion, but in fact a new line. So they have a range of Border Reivers, which are currently on Kickstarter. These are 28mm, both infantry and cavalry. So I've got a few samples. As you can see, they're white metal and they're in the main one piece. This gentleman comes with a separate shield and cast spear. Likewise, the cavalry are something similar. So we have a horse here at a bit of a turn, and then the rider, who I think is this gentleman once again. If not, they could be twins. Apart from the cast spears, there are a couple of other little build parts. So we have a second horseman sort of standing, and it's a simple 3-piece build. So I'm just going to glue these bits and pieces together and I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. So this initial Kickstarter is for 8 infantry and I believe it's 5 cavalry, might be 6. But it's also for a new game that Ian is deciding to run, so a small scale skirmish game on the Border Reivers. As you can see, to eye level they are approximately 28mm, being the tallest. That's our shorter fella, round about the same, again 28. Obviously small scale Border Reiver action is perfect for the period. I believe it's using the same system that Ian has for his Funky Skull games Gang War, where you use polyhedral dice to differentiate levels of person within the boar band or gang. So a leader will have a D10 and regular soldiers may only have a D6, but they all require the same 4-up to hit, so it's easier for your elite units to do the job. The detail on these is exquisite. So cast spear, I'm not generally a fan of cast spears, I'm just fickle like that, but these at least are not part of the model. Being separate means you can replace them if you want to. Lovely set of pantaloons there. So these are cast by Griffin for Flags of War, and the casting quality is absolutely superb. Not just on these, but on other Flags of War models I have from Ian. I've always been impressed by the quality of the casts. The fact the sculpts are nearly always one piece is, I suppose, credit to the sculptor and the mold maker that they can produce these without having to make them in a multitude of parts. As you can see, equipped for late 16th, early 17th century, which means they could be used for other conflicts. They don't have to be used for the Border Reivers in Scotland / north of England. You could use them across Europe or indeed into the Americas with conquistadors. They've got certainly the right type of plates and Morarian helmets and pistols, so they won't look out of place in any European army. I quite like the shields as well. As you can see, there's a sort of a plain buckler and then a more detailed one. They both, however, have detail on the reverse, so they both have the woodwork and even a little, I suppose it would be where the grip for the shield is. So if you are gluing it onto someone and you can see the reverse, so it's not so much an issue on these where it's going to be tight to the body, but if the shield was a bit further away and you could see the reverse, it would look like they're actually holding on to something. So that's the infantry. Beautiful figures. For the 2 cavalry models, we have, start off with our, could be our leader, Pistolero. Nice detail on the horse's leatherwork. Also empty holster here for his pistol, which is how I know this fits on this horse in particular, because the other gentleman has not got a pistol drawn, it's holstered still. He has a brace. You can also see the reins come down to the hand and then attach here. So the riders are made with specific horses in mind, trotting along. It's a good solid gaming piece as well. A little bit of movement in the horse, so not totally static. For our horse, from hoof to helmet is about 45mm. So he'll sit quite comfortably on a 25 by 50mm base as well. You know, gaming standard. So he's particularly nice. That's the one-piece horse and his rider. This was our three-piece. So more static, statuesque pose. Again, the I don't know if it's called bridling, but the leatherwork on the horse's tack hides this join on the leg very nicely, and the other join coming down the back of the thigh or the front of the thigh, so it's kind of masked there as well. A little more visible on the front, but not massively so, and with a bit of milliput that will be completely blanked. But even as is, I mean, the fit is so flush that a prime may mask a lot of that if people don't want to go about puttying things. Again, he has his brace of pistols, neither of which has been taken out yet, and is in a more heroic pose. Make a very good statue, actually. Because it is a one-piece cast, as you can see there, between the rein and the horse's head is a solid chunk. Not a massive issue for me, because I just spread black, I don't care. I know some people who don't like that, in which case you may have to drill it out, but in the grand scheme of things, not having to assemble a horse out of multiple bits, especially around the head, means I can overlook that quite happily. But the rest of the detail is gorgeous. The slash silks on his upper arms, and then the demi plate. Gorgeous model. Absolutely superb. If you haven't checked out the Kickstarter yet, there's already a couple of stretch goals that have a very BBC Elizabethan theme, shall we say. So if you're interested, whenever you see this, there'll be about a week left to run on it. So like I say, there's both the Border Reivers themselves plus a game system to go with, and this is the first phase. So this is just to get it out there and up and running, with more to come in the not too distant future. All right, folks, there we have it. Beautiful models. I'm always impressed by the quality of the sculpts and the casts from Flags of War anyway. So the fact he's moved into a new period is great news. Likewise, the game intrigues me as well, because the Border Reiver isn't a period that I would be particularly au fait with. That sort of 16th, 17th century Elizabethan period could be interesting to play. It could be interesting just to take those rules and those models and start playing something else. So the Elizabethan wars in Ireland, they would work equally well for that, or even taking them off to do some conquistadors against Aztecs or Mesoamericans, again, would work very nicely for that. So if you want to explore a new period without having to get full army, then having a look at the Border Reivers Kickstarter and that rule set is possibly a good way to go, but definitely worth checking out for the miniatures in and of themselves. They'll work across the range of sort of 16th, 17th century Europe and their conflicts. So let me know what you think below, folks, and if you haven't checked the Kickstarter out, it's well worth your while. I have a cunning reason for it.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.